Wednesday at 5 p.m. for Likkle Byte Ideas, where we discuss how Likkle ideas are transformed into big dreams. On the toolkit, and you will access a lot of resources. A lot of the information that we presented here today, there are a lot of activity sheets, so we encourage you to download some of that information. Also, there's a digital swag bag with Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It is yet another Wednesday. These Wednesdays go by so quickly, and we're so delighted to welcome all of you to our next edition of Likkle Byte Ideas. Of course, we're here to try to increase your financial knowledge and to help you manage your money better. Of course, I do not do this show alone. I didn't mention I am Doreed Whitlock. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of Samuel Fields Consulting Group. And so I'd like to welcome my co-host into the studio, Megan Samuel Fields, the CEO of Samuel Fields Consulting. Megan, how are you today?
Hey, Doreed. I am well, and good afternoon to our listeners and viewers. You're right. The Wednesdays are coming so quickly.
Yes.
Do you realize it's nearly Christmas?
Can you imagine? It feels like a daily show, not a weekly show.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
So today it's the 19th of October, and of course tomorrow, October 20th, is International Credit Union Day.
Yes, it is.
So this week, of course, is International Credit Union Week, and we are delighted. We have two representatives from two major credit union leagues. We're not just saying locally, we're going regionally.
Oh, yes,
so we're not just telling you about credit unions and what happens here in Antigua and Barbuda. We're also going further afield, and we're going to Dominica. So credit unions have become quite a part of the fabric, a part of our culture here throughout the Caribbean. So we'll talk a bit about that, the whole genesis of the credit union throughout the Caribbean, what really what characteristics do you associate with a credit union? What makes a credit union different from other banking institutions or from other financial institutions, I should say? So we'll get right into it. And so for those of you who are already members of credit unions, or you're thinking about it, we are bringing all of the information that you need today to increase your knowledge about how credit unions work and why you absolutely need to become a member of a credit union league. So I want to introduce our guests. First, we'll start with the lady. And we're delighted to introduce Jennifer Whyte, someone we know very well. She's the general manager of St. John's Corporate Credit Union in Antigua and Barbuda. Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you very much, Doreed. It's lovely to be with you again.
Yes, Jennifer, good to see you.
Happy International Credit Union Week, month.
Yes, that's right. Yes. It's not only the week, it's the month.
It's the month. And I see you have something at the back. And your T-shirt as well.
T-shirt. Yes, tell us what the theme is this year.
Can you see the celebration going on?
Yes, we can. We can see it. We can feel it. So tell us, what is the theme of Credit Union Month this year?
As you rightly said, Credit Union Month. Initially, the World Council of Credit Unions, they issued the theme for all credit unions, all 86,000 credit unions.
Oh my goodness!
Wow. Yes. So by August, we know what the theme is for the year, and we are all planning around the world. So we are in 118 countries, and 375 million people choose a credit union as their financial institution of choice. And so all of us around the world, we are celebrating with the theme, Empower Your Financial Future with a Credit Union.
Fantastic.
I love it.
Yes, so that's our theme, and it is really for International Credit Union Day. But as I said, a day is not enough. So invariably, credit unions around the world celebrate International Credit Union Week, International Credit Union Month.
Fantastic. Well, welcome, Jennifer. And we know you guys are always doing some exciting things at St. John's Corporate Credit Union, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about some of the initiatives that you have planned for the month. But I'd like to, let's not keep our other guest out of the loop for much longer. I am delighted to welcome, and I have to read this name because it's a powerful name, Mr. Phoenix Belfield, and he is the general manager of the Dominica Cooperative Society. Do I have it correctly? Dominica Cooperative Societies League Limited. And he is in Roseau, Dominica. And Phoenix, before you start, let's just say how closely we are connected to Dominica. Do you guys remember when we were growing up, we would say Fair Antigua Dominica? Do you remember that, Megan?
Yes.
Our national anthem?
Oh my gosh, yes.
So, our cultures are intertwined. Dominicans loving.
There she goes. Yes, but she's right. Dominica and Antigua, we've had a long connection. And I think a lot of us, at least my age group, the connection became even stronger after Hurricane David
and Frederick.
Yes, and lots of Dominicans came up.
So you know what? He's not here to talk geography or history. He's here to talk finance. So Phoenix, welcome.
Thank you very much. And it's always a pleasure to be with you and to speak about all things credit union. I'm happy that we deferred on the subject matter of geography because I did horribly at that in high school. But certainly on credit union, we can have a proper discourse on it. As always, it's a pleasure to speak. And more importantly so, to speak during this special week, Credit Union Week. Yes. And as we lead up to the build-up of International Credit Union Day tomorrow, I think, it is time to let the best secret out of the bag. So I'm happy to be here and look forward to having a quite enchanting discussion.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Well, we're happy to have you.
We are happy to have you. We're always looking to spread our wings when it comes to new guests and to bring voices and faces that people don't always hear from. So
hello, Brother Phoenix.
And of course,
these two know each other.
Of course, these two know each other. We don't know. There's something untoward here. We're not sure what it is, but we're going to leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Just drink your water. Drink your water.
Yes, we're going to drink some water today. Correct. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. So listen, let's talk about credit unions throughout the Caribbean. Credit unions, I grew up, I'm sure my mom is on the show. She's an ardent listener every week. And I remember like in the 70s or maybe late 70s when she got involved.
Yes.
Yeah, when she got involved in the credit union, very active. So it's very much a part of my culture. And, I believe in the whole credit union system. But tell us, Jennifer, we'll start with you. Tell us about the history of credit unions throughout the Caribbean.
So there is something called the Carib DE program, because hitherto Jennifer would not have been in a position. So even as I start, I just want to big up Melvin Edwards, who has been the father of teaching, us cooperators about the movement in the region. And, in those sessions, we would have learned about how the movement came, because the credit union as it is had its origins in Great Britain back in 1844. And when this gentleman, the father of the credit union movement, Robert Owen, decided that the Industrial Revolution was causing so much hardship on persons losing their jobs, machines replacing persons, salaries gone out the window, people having to go out and fend for themselves. And what was the answer? The answer was the credit union movement. People needed to pool their funds together, either start a business or, start a partnership, you know, whatever it is. So it can be a cooperative with other persons, or on your own, you start a business to be self-sufficient. Okay. And then other persons, it lit a fire that went around the world. And it was Peter Sullivan who brought it to the Caribbean. It started in Jamaica and came right down the islands. So that has been the genesis of the credit union movement in the region. However, there is also a school of thought that the credit union spirit was always in our people, because, you know, we had our history of slavery, emancipation, and coming out of that, we were all dispossessed. And the same situation as happened in Great Britain was happening in the region. And so the whole idea of pooling funds, of helping each other. So, you know, we have this practice in communities, in villages, where you come and help. You have a cook-off and you're helping the person to build the house. That is also a part of the cooperative spirit. And
fantastic.
So those are the early nuances of credit union, of cooperation in the region. And then we also heard about the box, the Susu and partner in Jamaica. That is also a part of the credit union story. And what has happened is that the credit union has said, don't just pull your funds and keep it in a box, have someone keep it at home where it's not secure, or, you know, where, someone can leave and forget that they have your box money, right? You know, bring it to a credit union where it is insured and where you can have it grow. And so the credit union movement took it to another level of teaching persons about how to empower yourself, your financial future, by proper and best practice money management. So I don't know if that helps in terms of
certainly
background for the credit union movement in the region.
So
fantastic.
So the credit union is like the box, the box system 3.0.
3.0. There you go.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So Phoenix, tell us, how did the credit union movement kind of unfold in Dominica? Do you share a similar history as Jennifer has outlined?
Well, actually, yes, because when Alicia de Tremere came some 60 plus years ago to Dominica, it was actually with the same premise and mindset. Because what we wanted to do was to introduce thrift into the society. We want to ensure that, and it started a little different, but I think the engines for the credit union, the foundations were already set. It started as a women's group because there was a drive towards empowering women economically and financially. And Alicia came with that in mind, Sister Alicia de Tremere, and she came with that in mind. And she said, let's pool our resources together so that we can improve our economic being in the society. And then gradually the men were allowed to be part of the grouping and so forth. And then
interesting.
And then all of a sudden it began to evolve. We have, over the last 60 plus years, we're probably 68 years going now, we have actually moved from 21 credit unions to now 6. And our credit unions, in terms of penetration, it has about 96% penetration. We're responsible for 51% of lending in the financial sector in Dominica. So credit union here is not just credit union.
Big business, yeah.
We are the way of life.
51%.
Yeah, we are the way of life. And so it is not something that we take very lightly. We take this responsibility and the trust that the members have deposited in us over a number of years. And we take this very seriously. That's why we're very passionate. And I told people, even if you take me to a funeral to give a eulogy, I'll find a way to talk about credit union. Because
wow. And I believe you.
So Phoenix, did I hear you say you went from 21 to 6 credit unions?
Yes, we have. Yes.
I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, that sounds like consolidation.
Yeah, the consolidation, because you see, and I think probably later down in the discourse we'll get about some of the challenges that the credit unions face, not only in Dominica but also regionally. And one of the things that we've recognized, just like how we bring individuals together to pool their resources for the common good of the community, credit unions came together and collaborated, became one, amalgamated, so that they too can pool their financial resources together and better serve the communities.
Fantastic.
So you have For example, Central Cooperative Credit Union, which is an amalgamation of Portsmouth and the St. Alphonsus Credit Union. You have NCCU, which is an amalgamation of 7 credit union branches. You have the West Coast, which is an amalgamation of 4 credit union. Marigot, which also took care of 4 credit union as well. You know, so the 4 largest credit unions are actually amalgamations of credit union branches along the corridors. So just like how we have encouraged people to come together and pool their resources, these community branches of credit unions have come together to better serve. And because of those consolidations, you're able to have a better capital adequacy structure. Yes. You're able to have a greater pool of financial resources, greater technology access, greater access to human resources, and to be able to serve the communities in ways that the smaller credit unions could not have been able to serve the communities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's really great information. Mm-hmm.
I heard that Dominica, of all the islands in the, at least in the OECS, mm-hmm. Dominica has the largest share of the market. I didn't realize it was 51%.
Yes,
it's more than by now.
Okay.
I'm just curious. What is it in Antigua? What's the proportion? What's the market share in Antigua? Do you know, Jennifer?
No, we don't have the statistics on that, Doreen.
Okay.
At the moment.
Okay.
At the moment.
That would be interesting.
But we know we have 6 credit unions.
Yes.
And, you know, the banks consolidated, bought out each other recently. So there is a lot going on. There was a seismic shift in the banking.
Yes.
And so it would be good to know what the current status is.
Yes.
We will have to check our statisticians and see what's going on there.
Yeah. But what I wanted to find out from you, Phoenix, what do you think is the main reason for such a large market share in Dominica? Because I find it very fascinating.
Yes.
That credit unions, the credit unions in Dominica, they have the majority share. That's really fascinating to me. What do you think is the reason for that?
Okay, and just a caveat, it is retail lending because we don't do commercial lending.
I see.
Right, so
okay.
It's retail lending.
Okay,
right.
That's good to know.
Right. And this is something that we've explained to the IMF and the CDB and all of these people that come in from time to time trying to decode the credit union secret.
There has to be a secret. There has to be.
You know, like Jennifer spoke earlier and so passionately about, it is when you are embedded in the communities return that favor to you. For example, we have more than 25 branches and sub-branches spread all across the island as a single economic financial player in the market. The closest to us in terms of financial institution has 3 branches. So we are located in the areas that are not normally seen as commercially viable.
I'd say.
Because we are not there for the commercial viability, we're there for service. And when you meet your consumers and your members at the point of greatest need, and you meet them where they are, there's an intrinsic and cultural connection and bond that is created when you serve your membership. And it's not only about providing them the financial services. They own the credit union. So it's you having a piece of investment that is serving you. So you get to be owner and service client of the institution as well. And so when you bring these two together, and one of the things that we have also done over a number of years, we have placed significant emphasis on our grassroots mobilization, and that is through the credit unionettes. So we like to say we cater from the cradle to the grave. And so through the credit unionettes, which we drive the credit union ethos, the cooperative ethos in the schools, we have people who emulate the same responsibilities that you have at the credit union, the different roles in the schools. So in the major secondary schools and primary schools, you have those groupings, those credit unionettes doing the same thing, providing savings, have credit committees, board, talking about thrift and so forth. So by putting that cultural education in them and embedding that credit union and cooperative spirit at a very granular and very early age, you're able to pass on that message as they grow. So when they grow up, credit union would not be something that they're discovering now. It becomes
Yes.
So it sounds like it's embedded in your culture. And I mean, that's That's what we're really interested in learning about.
Actually, the culture is embedded in us.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Wow, that's nice.
That's true.
I like that. I like
so,
that.
No, that is definitely in line with what we want to talk about today in terms of how credit unions can really help with financial literacy and improve the lives of the communities that you serve. But I'm curious, let me start with Jennifer. We just are emerging from a pandemic. I'm just curious as to what changes, well, how has the credit union movement been impacted by COVID? And for St. John's Corporate Credit Union specifically, what types of changes or adjustments have you had to make because of the pandemic?
So, number one, I think all credit unions like ourselves, and I think it's around the world, we got to put our money where our mouth is. Right? We just spoke about the ethos, we spoke about the cooperative principles, and suddenly we were thrown into a 1844 England situation where our members were either out of a job or their hours were cut. They had to take cuts in pay. We were facing a major industrial revolution, our own black swan. That is what happened in 1844. So it was our opportunity to say, okay, now that, you're a Robert Owen of 2020, right? So that is really what happened, because we could never have anticipated a COVID. And so what happened is that all our borrowers were looking to their credit union to say, what are you going to do? It was a serious situation, right? Because we were in a world, we had the downturn in 2008, and we were all recovering, and nobody has attained the statistics of prior to. So it's not like we were, superlative in terms of our performances. Everybody was still rebuilding, acquiring our ratios again, and then this thing hit. And so we had to look at our members and come to their rescue. We know that other financial institutions did it differently to how we did it. Credit union, St. John's Cooperative Credit Union, we gave our members something called a moratorium. We're accustomed to moratoriums, but like for 3 months, probably, maximum. Yep. But this moratorium we're called upon to give is for an entire year. A moratorium to people paying their loan and interest while keeping your staff, right? Working, keeping everybody, business as usual, but you're not getting the usual business.
Yes.
So it was really a situation where we just had to be a real credit union, and we offered that moratorium to our members. We stopped their interest accruing. We did not capitalize it like some of our cousins.
Nice.
It was an interest forgiveness. It was a sacrifice, but the institution is owned by its members, and so we have to make decisions in the interest of our members. Yeah. And that is what we decided to do. So after the year, it was another task now to get everybody back on track. And it is an ongoing, and you ask what the price is, what the cost is. We, our financials will show it. It is not we took a hit, right? But it's for our members. We are the shareholders, and so we were called upon to make that decision. And so in the true spirit of a credit union, we are now teaching our members how to prepare for a similar situation in the future. Absolutely. When you're paying your loan, you save as you repay, right? And that's really what happened. We do, right now, in addition to the Empower Your Financial Future, we are doing something else with our Credit Union Week. Telling them,
oh yeah, save regularly, borrow wisely, repay promptly. Love
it. All right.
So we are educating them at the same time, because coming out of COVID, we find that we have to be really reminding our members that you need to repay your loan. Yes, that happened, but come in, speak with us. Delinquency is a problem. It's an ongoing fight. It is something, a challenge, definitely, that we're facing. And so even through the show, we're appealing to our members that your name, the Bible says, is the best thing. Your good name is better than money, is better than gold. So we're inviting you, come in. If you know you're delinquent, come in and talk with us, because we did that good turn. and one good turn deserves another. You come, talk with us, and let's get you back on track. But we're happy with how we were able to assist our members and still stay afloat, still take care of our staff. Loans still came in. Our business is still booming, and we were just a real grassroots credit union during this COVID season.
Fantastic.
I guess you did like what Phoenix said. You met them where they were and met them in their time of need.
We had to.
People remember. And people remember that.
People remember.
And generationally, that's a story that people can hand down. We certainly remember the people who helped our parents in time of need. Exactly. So it's something. It's stories. These are some of the stories that are handed down that help to reinforce that culture that Phoenix talked about. But Phoenix, what has been your experience in Dominica with COVID, and how have you had to pivot with your credit union league as far as trying to cope with some of the challenges that came with the pandemic?
I like what Jennifer said about take the hit. I think we should raise that on top there and say your credit union took the hit. This is one of the things that we have continued to articulate in various media about how is it that the credit union, the purpose of the credit union, not for profit, but for service. And so if there's any financial institution that needs to take the hit for the collective, it's the credit union. And that is why, we have sought regulatory forbearance. We've gone to the regulators to ask for certain interventions so that we can provide necessary incentive and forbearance to our membership to ensure that they can weather this period, because without the membership we won't be existing. But one of the things that the COVID has taught us, other than the fact that we had this huge economic setback and we had the impairment of our loan portfolio, we had people losing their jobs, obviously the health of the membership was of primordial importance, and that of our staff as well. But we recognize that in every adversity there's an opportunity. And one guy once said, never let a disaster go without getting the benefit out of it. And what we realized from this COVID, when Dominica was decimated in 2007 by Hurricane Maria, where we lost, and that was just about 2 years before with Tropical Storm Erica, where we lost 90% of our GDP. And in 2017, where we lost 224% of our GDP.
My goodness.
People tend to forget the impact, the huge impact that these things have had on our society.
I'm sure.
Economic fiber. And sometimes we take it for granted how far we've come to recover. And then whilst we're in the spirit of recovery, in comes COVID. So our mantra from the passage of Hurricane Maria has been to build back better, to build back more resilient. And that is why COVID now presented to us a unique opportunity. And that was to increase digitalization and technological adoption within the credit union space. And that's why we have our M-L'argent mobile wallet. We're coming to Antigua very soon.
Yes.
We're spreading that cooperation message around the OACS. Because what we wanted to do, we realized that COVID presented an opportunity to us where we could now increase the digital uptake of our services. And one of the things that are not normally associated with the credit union movement is innovation. And so what we wanted to do is listen, COVID required you to reduce face-to-face contact, reduce interaction. Why don't we use this opportunity to build on the technological front, and increase the adoption, allow for more card usage, checks, and online payment systems, and so forth. And so we, as a league, developed the M-L'argent mobile wallet in collaboration with our credit unions to see how we can drive that adoption. And the market has really been soaking it up. And so, notwithstanding the challenges of COVID, we saw this enormous opportunity in which we can drive digital adoption. And I looked at the case. I remember when I went to Kenya a few years ago, and there's this popular bank, Exim Bank, which is the fastest growing bank in Western Africa. And they have 96% of their transactions are done outside the halls of the bank. So what we wanted to do was essentially convert the 8 to 4 operations of the credit union to 24/7 by allowing the members to use intermittently, to use it 24/7 access to their accounts. So whilst, yes, we took the hit, we also took the opportunity that the pandemic presented to us to drive the digital adoption. And that's where we are today.
Nice.
Well, that's Dominica for you. Never letting a disaster go to waste.
Yeah.
So Phoenix, what's M. Lejean? What's that?
Well, M. Lejean, actually, it's a concoction or a marriage of two sets of words. M meaning mobile, and L'argent is the Creole word for money. So it's mobile money.
I love that.
Yeah. So you must put on your French accents at L'argent.
Oui, L'argent. Oui.
L'argent. Okay.
Right. So
Great.
that is good. So we're bringing a little bit of the Apple Pay and the Google Pay experiences into the Caribbean. You know, a lot of our people travel outside and say, listen, you know, we go to China and this is what's happening. And we go to the US and we said, hey, hold a second. We got this. We can have it here because, and this is probably one of the challenges that we've had, is allowing our people to believe in themselves, that what we see outside in the first world country, we can have it here because we have the talents. When we have creativity and we have ingenuity and we have talented people like Jennifer and co. Listen, we need to nurture those talents and bring these things right back in the Caribbean. So this was really our way of telling them, listen, this is what can happen if you believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. That's great. Well, I want to take a break and pause for any questions. When we come back, I'd like to hear more about the digital adoption and to hear some of the specific products that you have in the pipeline, both in Antigua and in Dominica. And also, we'd love to hear more about your celebrations for the week, for the month, any activities that you have planned, any campaigns, promotions, so that we can help to not just educate our audience, but to get people excited about some special offers or programs that you might be offering. So Megan, do we have any questions, comments we want to acknowledge at this time?
We sure do. So our first one is from Lady Miriam Samuel.
Yes.
Our regular fan. And she says, good afternoon. I joined the credit union in 1978 and I'm still a member. I have benefited from it. My advice to young people is join a credit union. And I do remember those days of the credit union with my mom.
Yes.
Linda Gonzalez Peltier says, so true with handing down. And I think she was referring to what was said earlier. And she asked the question, and it's a good question. She says, if this was recorded, can it be shared? It is on our
YouTube channel.
All of our shows, they're on our YouTube channel, and you can share it with your family and friends.
And you can also sign up for our newsletter so that you can get ongoing information that you can share with your family and friends.
Exactly. Just send an email to info@Samuel Fields Consulting, and we will add you to our mailing list. We also have, this is us speaking to Linda. Then we have Jerome Jenkins saying, shout out to Mrs. Jennifer Whyte from Connie Jenkins. Great show.
Thank you, Connie.
And then we have Latoya Dubry Auguste. Great partnership. Happy ICU week. All right.
To say.
And that was it. Linda is saying she will share with her committee after. So that's what we have so far with comments. No questions yet. So before we actually go on to speak about the activities, I have a question to both of you. I listened to what Phoenix said, and I was very, very intrigued with what you said, Phoenix, about the credit unions coming together and having an amalgamation, and therefore you saw the benefits from a larger client base and things like that. Has there ever been any consideration of amalgamation within the islands? So like a credit union that is in both Dominica, branches in Dominica, Antigua, St. Kitts? Has there ever been that type of thinking of a large conglomerate type of credit union?
Right. Or some kind of umbrella approach, or that allows, allows some kind of clearinghouse or something to that effect.
Okay, so Felix, let's hear from you.
I'm smiling and I'm almost crying inside because I can feel it for the regulators who are on this program and they're listening in, because this is going to be a nightmare for them. The thing about it is that we haven't quite exploited the economies of scale within our domestic domains as yet to actually get us into that area where we need to reach externally. I've not seen any provisions within the Societies Act that enables such a cross-border collaboration. But what we have done, and this is again, it's an antidote for those who are pushing or would want to push for cross-border. And even while we look at the issue of consolidation of, Jennifer talked about consolidation in the banking sector, but we talk about consolidation in the credit union sector, amalgamation. What we've also done is push shared services. So in some cases whereby there's not a strong need to come together, we can still harness the collective synergies within the movement by having shared services. And a case in point, like for example, we have NCCU, which is the largest credit union in Dominica, the largest credit union in the OECS, the 6th largest credit union in the Caribbean, the 2nd largest financial institution in Dominica, and collectively you account for close to 46% of the GDP.
Oh wow!
So we have this credit union who have used its ATM card services as a shared service with the other credit unions. So other credit unions can now benefit from its ATM services. The other credit unions can also benefit. So whilst we may not want to integrate or consolidate or amalgamate, we can also use shared services. Well, at this time, yes. There have been some pros and cons about the optimal consolidation within the sector, because just like how you have a consolidation in the banking space with reduced opportunities, increased systemic risk to the financial space, you can also have that same thing happening in the credit union sector if there's an over consolidation of the sector, because it is through this kind of competition and having these layered players in the market that introduces some level of diversity in the offerings to the public, so you can benefit from this credit union or not. And think about it, if you look in the communication space, if we only had one player in the communication space, regardless of how big that player was, we would have still had limited options. So the fact that we still have a few credit unions competing, and we say you compete, but you also complement. So what we do is that, okay, we've gone from 21 to 6. Now let's focus on enhancing shared services within the movement. And that is how we've been able to still benefit from cooperation among cooperatives, allowing each credit union to compete within its own geographical space, and still, saying to the movement that, hey, we might be competitors in this space, but we're still collaborators in this whole journey.
Okay.
Fantastic. I've gotten such an education so far that this is just amazing. Now, Jennifer, I know that St. John's Corporate Credit Union, you guys are known for doing lots of events, activities. Tell us what, I know that you shared your activities with us. We've shared it on our, for those who are interested, go to our Facebook page, and we have shared that document there so you can see it maybe a little more clearly. But we're going to put that document up now. And Jennifer, just walk us through some of the activities that you have planned for the month and how members and potential members can benefit from some of the initiatives that you have ongoing.
Okay. Thank you, Doreen. So at our credit union, when we sat as management to discuss how will we celebrate and really make a difference in the lives of our existing and potential members, how will we use this theme to impact lives, especially as we said, coming out of COVID, because we're still focused on, this learning experience, right, that COVID was. So we're still trying to tell our members that you need to come to us and take advantage of all our products and services, because they are, if you had done that prior to COVID, you would have found and seen the benefits. And so now that you've had that experience, if you hadn't put your ducks in a row, come on over and let's talk with you and help you to do that. So the theme for ICU just worked quite well for us. It says empower your financial future, with St. John's Cooperative Credit Union. And so our activities were really, really focused. And so when we went on ABS TV and Observer Radio, and yesterday when we were on Point FM and Vibes, we are, as Phoenix would say, we went out into the community. These are the stations that a lot of our members, listen to, and we want to reach them. And persons who are underserved and unserved, unbanked, these are the names that we are reaching. We reached out to these people and said, listen, come to St. John's Cooperative Credit Union during the season and learn how we can help you empower your financial future. And so that's what we've done so far. And today we spent some time, showing appreciation to our members, giving some tokens, and our staff. And this will spill over into tomorrow. We're doing fun trivia. So we have that fun side and appreciation side. And we also pulled in our 40th anniversary activities, of course. We call this week our 40th anniversary ICU week, kind of a thing. And so our tree planting that we're doing, we're trying to establish 40 green, lovely growing trees that represent what we bring to our community. We bring life, we bring the whole idea that you can plant a seed, which is your savings, and it can grow into a mighty tree in the future as you save, invest, borrow for the children's education, to have your home, your car. You cannot really save enough at any one time to buy these things cash. We want to help you to do that. So plant a seed here, watch it grow, and achieve all your financial dreams in the future. And so that's what we've been doing so far. But then it gets even, we're up in the ante tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a triple feature. Those films? Tomorrow we're having serious stuff happening here at St. John's tomorrow, because we're starting the day out to have some captures of this momentous occasion. It's our 40th year. So we want to, have images to show of what we did for ICU during our 40th year. After 4 decades, what did we do that year? And so lots of picture taking photo ops with our staff, volunteers wearing our signature shirt and stuff like that. And then later in the afternoon, our staff will engage with this special organization called Samuel Fields Consultancy Group. And they have been working with us in this, our 40th year, significant year, in bringing transformation to our team in terms of money management, financial planning, really helping all of us to really get it right. And so we call it the life workshop that we've been undergoing. And so, life means lifestyle influenced by financial empowerment.
Financial empowerment.
Would you believe that? So WACO chose a theme that blended. I can't tell you, we couldn't plan it better. So we are still on that theme of empowerment. And so the team will have this, check it out. Say, what are the lessons we've learned so far? Where are we going as we complete that 1-year program? And then in the evening, 6 o'clock, our team will in turn host our entrepreneurs, all those business operators who are members of St. John's Credit Union. They're either in operation already or have a business idea. They're going to come online for our webinar. And we're going to be looking at a lot of areas that can help them, that will empower them to have business success. That's the title of the workshop. And so we'll be looking at such things as, of course, we'll share our products and services that are geared toward our business members. We have corporate tellers, we have a corporate office, we have ATM, we have night deposit, checking account, all kinds of stuff. And we just want to ensure that they are aware. Sometimes they just come to open an account and go, and, they don't get a chance to double check. We have online access. We have mobile app. They don't need to come and stand in line. They can get all of their business, a business person come and stand in line is a waste of time. When you're a business operator, sometimes you're a sole proprietor, so you need to know you can pay all your utility bills online when you're a member of St. John's Credit Union. So we share those first, and then we're going to get in some nitty-gritties of some ideas that, you know, will help them think about digital marketing, the customer service that's empowering for a small business, you know, and they'll be able to network online just like we're doing here, ask questions, get to know other credit union businesses, and, you know, fraternize, and, you know, just learn to patronize each other. And so that's a powerful day tomorrow, which is ICU Day. And then on Friday, we're going to turn our eyes to the community. Phoenix mentioned earlier about the cooperative principle of cooperation between credit unions. There is also the 7th principle that speaks to demonstrating concern for our community. And, you know, we have adopted our daycare for the elderly that is in our community here near the credit union, and that is St. Vincent de Paul. We'll visit up with them and share some gifts, and, you know, share some time with the elderly there. And of course, we also have one of our platforms, health and wellness. And so we will be recognizing, you know, the whole emphasis on cancer awareness, breast cancer awareness, which is celebrated or recognized in the month of October. So, and we have more planned. It's spilling over into November, but I will just stop there for this week. That's what we're doing for ICU Week at St. John's Credit Union.
Oh, that is phenomenal. I mean, Jennifer, I hope you're all energized for a week that, you know, a no sleep week, but it's well needed work that I think will be appreciated by your members. And I better get on track and stop saying customers, you know, and get with the program and say members.
Yes.
So I'm sure your members will really enjoy some of the programs that you have to offer. Very, very detailed. We're going to wind down, and I want to pose the question to both of you, as we often do on this program, about our Likkle idea. Of course, we brought our guests here today to talk about mostly financial literacy. It is Financial Information Month, and so it was really good to hear about the dynamics of the industry, the genesis of it, and your plans for the future. But I think within all that, we want to understand what the credit union movement is doing to really assist the populace in advancing their financial literacy. Phoenix alluded to the fact that they've done, you know, quite a bit, starting with early education and bringing the financial literacy to the young ones, so it becomes a part of the culture, and the culture becomes a part of them. But I just want to hear more, Phoenix, about some of the formal outreach that the Credit Union League has made in Dominica as far as advancing financial literacy for all ages.
Yes. Thank you very much for that question. We have, again, one of the things that we continue to do, even through empowerment of our volunteers, starting with our volunteers and staff. And as you know, Jennifer was speaking with excitement, I was beginning to look to see if there's an available flight to Antigua.
Oh, Phoenix.
You know, one of the things that we pride ourselves in is that you have to find a way to make learning fun. Mm-hmm. And like for example, today and during this week we have a whole slew of activities. One of which today we actually delivered on a presentation at the JCI. We collaborated with the JCI. We also collaborate with the ECCB in Financial Information Month. And so we use not only the medium available to us in the sector, but we collaborate with those outside of the sector, because we recognize that financial education is everybody's business. Absolutely. And if we have a financially literate population, it makes a more meaningful conversation and living for all of us involved. So we recognize that though we have a social mandate for us as a movement, we recognize again that with partnering people who are like-minded and other institutions that are within the space, that we can also get things done, because alone we can walk, together we can run. And yes. So today I had the privilege of speaking at the JCI on the psychology of wealth, and really
I like that.
About how, no, that's for another discussion. But really looking about it from an empowerment perspective as to how do we look at wealth creation. And from the very small age, we encourage our members from small primary school, secondary school to save. And the idea is not how much you can save, but rather the discipline of saving.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer mentioned it earlier, but we're the only financial institution in the space that compels people to save while they spend. And so, whereas the other financial institutions just say, come and pay your loan, we say, no, while you're paying this thing, come and develop some new habits. And so this is something that we don't broadcast a lot because we're in the credit union. We don't like our left hand knowing what the right hand is doing.
Yes.
But I think it's time for us to let the secret out. So for us, we look at it from a cultural perspective, that we begin the journey from young, from the credit union net position, and then we collaborate with non-financial cooperatives as well, and other institutions, college, government. We collaborate a lot with the government. Especially now that the government is on a digitalization drive, MRAJAN has collaborated significantly with the Ministry of Digital Economy and the government in driving this message to the population. So, like I said earlier, alone we can walk, together we can run. We have looked at this as not only a mission of the credit union, but we see ourselves as a critical player within the market space. And in terms of driving good neighborly relationship, although we compete with the banks, we partner with the banks a lot of times. In fact, we have what we call an association of compliance officers within the credit union space. And we're going to expand that to include those in the commercial banking and insurance sector, so that we can enhance the compliance culture as a jurisdiction and not only as a movement. So when we look at this thing from a bigger picture, not from a sort of insular and a boxed off approach, we look at it as how is it that we can use our unique position, because to whom much is given, much is asked.
Absolutely.
So along with the authority and the privilege comes responsibility. So this is us as a responsible financial institution, showing ourselves as critical players within the market space and using that leverage that we have to drive the message with our partners, be it merchants, government, private sector, public sector, non-profit organizations. So we see it more like we're the big brother within the space, and we use all of the available players to see how is it that together we can drive this message.
Fantastic.
Nice.
So, folks, we're coming to the end of our broadcast, and the big question is going to be posed. Jennifer, you're familiar with our show, so we'll start with you first. And as we say, if I have an idea,
and you have an idea,
that's great. We each have our individual ideas, but it's when we bring these ideas together, collaborate, that we can really enjoy those eureka moments, and we can turn small ideas into big dreams. So, Jennifer, tell us, what is your Likkle idea?
Well, yes, I'm quite familiar with that. My little personal idea is still going strong. And I would share by just reflecting on what I said in the early stages of our conversation this evening, and said, we are having a renaissance of persons understanding that we have to work together. We are our brother's keeper. That's what COVID did. And even as we look to tomorrow, when we're going to be having our entrepreneurs online, we're hoping that they will be hearing some stuff that will help them to realize that they're not alone in their small business. The issues that they're facing, it is a common issue, and that we're all in the same boat. And maybe, just maybe, if I link up, if I cooperate with my brother Phoenix over there, with my sister who is doing the hats over there, and we share the rent, we do something, we cooperate. My little idea is that our businesses that are still struggling coming out of COVID would look to the philosophy and the principles of cooperation, like the credit unions did back, when we started in 1844 and in the region. if we could start looking out for each other more, not just to say help you because a hurricane came and I came and you're staying under my roof, but money. When you come together and you get economies of scale, that is what we're talking about. Taking it from the books and into our current lives, in our businesses, cooperating. That is what is my idea, that coming out of this, somehow we would see some cooperation among businesses that help them to stay afloat and to grow.
Fantastic. That's a little big idea. Thank you so much for that. Phoenix, you're up next. What is your Likkle idea?
Well, if I didn't know Jennifer, I'd say she'd peep in there because I had collaboration written there. So seeing that she's expertly developed that idea, I'll go into my next best Likkle idea.
Okay.
Which is actually what we said earlier: never let a disaster go to waste. We've met so many times with entrepreneurs, and we've asked them, "What have you learned over the last 24 months?" We've asked them, "What have you done differently?" You said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. What have you done? A lot of these entrepreneurs, they're waiting for the normal to be established, and we're telling them, listen, the norm has left. This is a new norm. And a lot, if you look at what's happening in the Western countries, those that were at $100 billion of wealth are now at 200 billion. We have people whose wealth have quadrupled during the same COVID moment where everybody stayed at home and watched Hulu and Netflix. Their wealth quadrupled. And the question is, what did we do with that time? So now we might say, okay, well, COVID is almost gone. No, it's not almost gone, because the mindset is still there. And so, as Jennifer said earlier, COVID came and taught us a lesson. But did you hear the sermon? Because some people will watch and ask what happened. Some people will see what's happening, and some people will make things happen. We have to decide on which side of the spectrum we are. My Likkle idea is, what lesson did COVID teach you? And did you really hear it? And are you learning from it?
Love it.
That was phenomenal. I actually took notes, which I normally don't do during this. That was phenomenal.
Awesome.
Now,
Love it.
I want to thank our guests. Before we leave, do we have any questions, comments that we want to
sure
acknowledge?
Do. We have
okay, let's
comments.
Get to it.
We have from Linda Gonzalez Peltier. She says, back in 2019 at Carib DE, I don't know what DE stands for, but I believe Phoenix knows. This came up in a discussion, and I think she was talking about the amalgamation question that I had asked.
Not quite.
Oh,
Linda's a good friend of mine. She's trying to let my cat out of the bag. But Linda's a very fervent colleague in the space, and Carib D is actually Jennifer spoke about it. This that is led by Melvin Edwards, and I've not gone into it as yet, but I plan to. But I've sent many of my staff and encouraged them to join. It's really a space where credit union volunteers and staff come together and become empowered, enriched in knowledge, refined skills, and so forth. And it has been growing from leaps and bounds over a number of years. But in our case, what we are also discussing, and again, we spoke about at the regional level. You're going to hear more about it in time to come. We have been discussing, because of the fact that we've seen the consolidation in the banking sector, we've been looking as to how is it that we can set up a credit union bank. So you're going to hear a little bit more about it in time to come. I know a couple of people are going to be shaking, but listen, we're a progressive
a credit union bank. That sounds like an oxymoron, but keep moving.
Yes, and you'll understand why, because you see, even as credit unions, we are still restricted in the services that we can do. For example, we cannot deal in foreign currency. We cannot trade outside of those restrictions within the Cooperative Societies Act. Some of the things that the bank can do, we cannot do. We cannot bank with ourselves. So having that allows us for what we call like backward and forward linkages within the
It's
financial space.
intriguing.
So
Wow.
we're having really feverish discussions on this whole space and what's
Very
happening.
interesting.
Again, we've seen what's happened in the sister territories where credit unions and credit union membership have been debanked from the financial space, and so we're taking this very seriously, and we're working together with the regional regulators, the ECCB, to see what we can do within that space, because this is no longer about us. It's about survival. It's about future proofing the credit union movement. It's about saving the legacy of the last 60 plus years and ensuring that our future remains bright and intact.
Yes.
And so this is where we're pushing the needle. So you're going to hear more about
Fantastic.
it.
We're gonna watch that space. We're gonna watch that space.
Yes.
And
Let's get the other
one of the comment from Lydia Courtney Francis. Hey, Lydia. And she says, excellent program. Not forgetting that credit unions provide LPLS insurance free to its members.
Loan protection and loan saving insurance.
And so that's free to your members. That's awesome.
Yeah, what happens is that the credit union provides that service on behalf of the membership. So the credit union takes that coverage on behalf of the membership. So for example, if something happens to you, somebody dies and they have a loan, they have a certain coverage that goes towards it. If, for example, in the loan saving, for the savings insurance, if you have, for example, $20,000 in your account, then in some cases you would be able to withdraw 40,000 because it is doubled. So you have it at different levels. We have our subsidiary company, COPF Insurance, that provides loan protection and loan savings insurance for our credit unions in Dominica and in Grenada. And we also provide family bereavement insurance as well for them, so help them at a time of one of their loved ones dying. So I mean, this is an excellent point from Lydia, because these are some of the things that the credit union provide on behalf of the membership without a cost to the members.
Excellent. And then one last comment.
Sure.
Wanda Versal says, love the insight concerning what COVID taught.
Yes.
And that's really a lesson for us all.
I agree.
Yeah. Excellent.
Well,
this was great. I loved it.
And I just love the stories about the COVID comeback.
Yes, COVID comeback.
The COVID comeback is real, and thanks so much for sharing. Megan, what do we have in store for next week?
So next week we're still in the month of October, and it's Financial Information Month. You'll recall that last week we had a representative from the ECCB agency office, the manager of the Antigua and Barbuda branch, Mrs. Carol Ford Harrigan. This week, we have all of the guests representing the credit union. So next week, we want to speak to the financial institutions, the banks. So we are going to have a few members of our banks come on, speaking about financial literacy, but also getting an understanding of their different services. I know we have a nice little our little theme that I'm trying to pull up here. If you have it to hand, do you read?
I don't.
Okay, let me see. I'm gonna get it in a second. It is not seeing it.
Well,
financial literacy, the new frontier of the banking customer experience. So we're going to be speaking about what they're doing within the whole space of financial literacy, and how they're getting and how they're reaching their customers and empowering their customers.
That's great. And as we say here at SFCG, our role is to democratize finances. So we want to hear from all sectors that are affected, from all stakeholders. And we were delighted today to hear from our friends in the credit union movement. And we had the lovely Jennifer Whyte. She's general manager of St. John's Corporate Credit Union. And
is that a lovely with a capital L? I'm just asking.
Capital L.
Of course.
Brother Felix.
And instead of an O, we have a heart in lovely. And of course, we had the formidable Phoenix.
Capital F?
Capital.
No, common P.
Common. And of course, Phoenix is the general manager of the Dominica Cooperatives Securities League Limited. And we end by saying Fair Antigua, Dominica. And the love is real. Yes. Thank you for bringing Dominica to Antigua. These days, we really miss Liat. We can't get to go to Dominica as much as we would like. But, like anything, we're going to keep hope alive. So to our guests, we want to thank all of you for joining us. For Nicholas, who is our technical director, Aaliyah, who is on a break. We miss Aaliyah. And for all of our ardent listeners who join us every week, we thank you for joining us. We hope that we were able to provide some new insights about credit unions today, and we invite you to rejoin us next week. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can always be apprised when we upload new content. Be sure to like our Facebook page, and to receive our newsletter, send us an email, info@samuelfieldsconsulting.com, so that we can update you with tips and tools about your finances. Have a great Wednesday evening, everyone. It's hump day.
Bye,
Enjoy
everyone.
The rest of the week.
Enjoy.
And of course, happy International Credit Union Day tomorrow. Have a great celebration, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.